Hi, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run.
This is Robbie with Believe in the Run.
And today we are talking about one of Robbie's favorite shoes.
The Skechers Go Run Ride 11. We're talking about Skechers, yeah, like I said, Go Run Ride 11. This is a shoe that's been around for a while. Well, I guess 11 versions. I don't know, 11 years, but.
Yeah, Skechers can be kind of sporadic with their releases, so it could be like 11 years, or it could have just been like blah, 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 blah.
But this is kind of their core shoe in the Skechers performance lineup, which is like their daily trainer, do everything shoe.
This is the Skechers that you would put on like anybody. You'd be like, okay, here you go. This is their Pegasus, this is their Nimbus, this is their...
In fact, whenever somebody comes to me, like a friend or family member who's starting out running, I almost always just say, just get the Skechers Ride, because it's gonna work for pretty much everybody.
Friends and family.
Yeah, friends and family. I wish I had the discount. Skechers hooked me up. I was always like here, like it's a fine shoe for the, you know, the couple versions I run in it. But then we got this version, which we saw first at the running event this past December. And the designers were pretty stoked on the shoe.
It also looked like it might be more similar to another shoe that you loved from last year, which was the Max Road.
Yeah, the Max Road 5 was, as anyone who watches this channel know, one of my favorite shoes. There's a lot of similarities between those two shoes. But I guess let's first get into the upper. Thomas, tell me about this upper.
I mean, it's a really comfortable upper. It fits very well. You can see there's not a ton of puckering. A lot of times with my narrow foot, I'll get puckering. This one actually laces up really nicely over the foot. Fit was good, no heel lift, plenty of padding in the tongue and the collar. It's a comfort shoe. If my one knock against it, Robbie, would be, it's a little warm. That is
the one thing I liked about this shoe, was that the upper is, it finally feels like a good upper. I feel like Skechers misses so much on uppers.
And it also sculpts nicely into the arch, which sometimes I would complain that the Skechers shoe would just be like a tube on the foot. This one actually fits pretty well. Only problem I'm gonna have with this one is it is a little warm.
Yeah, definitely. So, you know, maybe in the humid summer months, it might be a little bit of a struggle, but. All right, let's move on to maybe some of the midsole here. So we got Hyperburst Ice, which is their newest version of Hyperburst. Honestly, Hyperburst has always been really good. I feel like Skechers was the first brand to really nail the supercritical.
Yeah, when the Razor came out, we were like, what is this?
I still feel like Skechers is the best at it. Like everyone has a supercritical shoe now. Brooks tried it, you know, Hoka, everyone. I still think they're the best at making a supercritical midsole. I
would agree with you. This midsole, Robbie, it's one of the best out there.
So compared to the Ride last year, this has gained some more stack height. So it's 38 millimeters in the heel, 32 millimeters in the forefoot, 6 millimeter drop. So you're getting up there with pretty much the highest stack of max cushion shoes, generally speaking, in the 40 millimeter range. And it feels really, really nice.
Yeah, it's buttery, it's pillowy. It bounces, it's very responsive. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, oh, I just love this midsole. You know, it's so close, like if they could do something with the upper to just tone it in just a little bit more, I'd be even more happy about it, but the ride on this is pretty insane.
I'm not sure what I would change about the midsole. I feel like it's one of those almost perfect feeling midsoles where it gives you that nice bounce. But it doesn't lose it's not soft or mushy, it's just bouncy, and it rolls right along. I mean, they have this Hyper Arc technology, which is like their rocker shape that kind of like transitions pretty smoothly through the stride. Now, there's a lot of rubber on the outsole here, but
rubber.
Good amount of it too.
Yeah, this ain't going nowhere. One thing we forgot to mention though, Rob, was the high arch in this, which I love. I have a high arch, so the way that this works with my foot feels perfect. Some people might not like that though.
I didn't find it was unstable, like it didn't feel wobbly or anything like that. It's a pretty decently wide base, I feel like.
One of the things that's hard to quantify, it has that carbon infused H plate that you were talking about.
I don't even mention that.
I just assumed you did.
It's in there.
I mean, it's not something that, like you can see, it's not like a super rigid shoe. Like, I don't know that I feel the plate in there. I'm sure that it helps give us a little bit of that toe off sensation. I did notice though, even with this stack, you still get some ground feel off the front. It's not like something that like you're like, oh, this is gonna cause fatigue on the forefoot. It's just a sense of proprioception. Proprioception that when you're running through, you still get a pretty good sense of the ground underneath here.
So I would compare this a bit to the Max Road 5 in terms of cushion and feel. I don't think it rolls the same. It feels a little bit like a block of foam underneath. Not in a necessarily bad way, it just feels different.
The 5 had that segmented, kind of almost like a, I don't know.
It had the really weird outsole on it that was like broken up into like 50 pieces. So, yeah, you pretty much could roll straight through there. The just ride, the comfort. I mean, this is definitely like one of those comfort cruisers.
What's the price?
The price is ridiculous. It's $120 for this shoe. You're not gonna find a better shoe.
There's not a better shoe for 120 bucks. I would agree with Robbie on that. My size 10.5 weighs 10.4 ounces or 295 grams, which is right there in that kind of like daily trainer range. It's one of those shoes that I'm saying this too often lately because these shoes are some of them are getting heavier, but the way that the foam bounces, it feels like a lighter, more lightweight shoe.
And a lot of the weight too is in the upper, so it's like wrapped around your foot, so it's not so much underneath of you that you're picking up that weight. Compared to the last version, it did pick up almost 1.5 ounces, which is, I mean, pretty significant. So if you're looking for that lightweight daily trainer, you're not gonna get that. When I looked at the weight, when I weighed it afterwards, I was surprised that it weighed as much as it did.
This shoe just cruised and I didn't even have to think about it. It just felt good on my feet. It just feels good. Like, it's baffling to me how good this shoe feels.
I think this is more of like a $150 shoe. I think it beats even a lot of shoes in that range.
I think it can compete with the 160s.
Yeah, it stands up right with them. So I think, yeah, if you can get this shoe at the $120, I mean, you can. It's there, it's available.
The crazy thing is we know from our audience, and we know that not everybody loves the Skechers brand. It has like a whole bunch of baggage with it.
Look,
say that this had an Adidas upper on it, or a Nike upper on it, or Asics upper on it, we'd probably be saying this would be one of the best shoes that we've reviewed this year.
You'd be losing your mind about it. And I think this will end up as one of my favorite shoes of the year.
I don't know if I can do it. It's good. We put it on our heat list on the website.
Just
it's
black
our top daily trainers. Yeah, check it out. Robbie, anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. We'll have the review of the Max Road 6 coming up, which is similar, but just way more.
It's more.
It's ridiculous. Otherwise, just, check out the rest of our reviews. Make sure you follow us on all our social media, listen to our podcasts, The Drop and Fuel for the Soul. All the links are in the description.
Don't you think they should subscribe to the email?
Subscribe to the weekly email. We get all our reviews each week. And
that's the best way to find out what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't have to check back on the site every day. Though we want the traffic, so feel free to do that as well.
Robbie, I think I know what you're going to say, but what light are you giving this shoe?
Oh, green light, no doubt. It's not even a question. We didn't even have to light it up.
I'll give it to it as well. You know, this is a fun shoe to run in.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I got a flight to catch.
Like if you were stuck camping and you needed a sleeping pad, you could rip this tongue out and you'd be pretty comfy.
It would work. A little, you know, if you have any pets, like small rodents, you could definitely, you put them right there beside you in the tent. I mean, don't roll over, you might kill them, but otherwise it'd be great.